Two cool bros tooting each other's horns.
We the best! So this first one, admittedly, stretch. I don't even know if you've heard of this guy, but Io Dosomo.
Dude, he's my number one, dude.
Is it? Yeah, there you go. Okay.
And I had never heard of him, dude. I had never heard of him. But
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So we're on the same wavelength here.
oh damn,
Yeah.
I thought that was gonna be such a surprise one, but you already pulled it out. Yes. Okay, I love it.
Okay, well,
I'll
then this
talk
guy's
about-
already
yeah.
clinched the win, I think. But
Maybe, yeah.
yeah, although my thought is more, this is not to knock the kid or the man. He's an adult. This is not to knock the guy. It's not his fault.
Right.
But it's more of a roster construction issue to me. So this is a second round pick. He's a rookie. 38th overall, I believe. 27 minutes a game. Over 77 games. For a team that's built to win. I mean, the Bulls are built to win. So how are you reliant on a rookie to take on that type of workload? So it's not his fault, but man, he was not efficient. You looked at the same numbers, but he just did not provide offensively. He just was not there at all. I
I have one thing I will say that he did provide, though.
Yeah, go for it.
I was going to say, and like we said, this guy's a second round pick rookie. So for him to be mentioned here is like not surprising, but he does have potential. So again, I don't want to shit on this guy. I think he's just least valuable player this year, but this guy actually has a ton of potential based on what he did this year. I just think he has a lot of stuff to figure out.
I think we're not trying to hate on the guy at all.
No, because he shot
achieved
37%.
Something great. Being a rookie. And he's a rookie, and he's out there playing 27 minutes a night and staying healthy all season.
Yeah, and he shot 37% from three, dude. He shot great from three.
Yes. Yeah, his effective field goal percentage, not bad, stuff like that. But you look at his player efficiency, 11.2. I mean, that's just brutal. Guy was a minus 1.9 offensive box plus minus. I mean, this is just a negative player playing heavy minutes on a playoff team.
Dude,
and that's the thing. If he was on the Thunder or the Rockets, then we're saying this rookie just had a great year. But he's on a team that's built to win now. And that's not his fault, but it's bad. Well, I'm even looking to show his on-off, which is not a perfect stat.
That's where I'm going. Oh. Can I go with it?
Okay.
This is where I found the biggest thing. I was so excited when I found this, right? So this dude's on-off splits were, he was a negative 4.4 for offense. Like the Bulls were 4.4 points worse in offensive rating per 100 possessions. And when he was off the court, they were 4.4 points better, which essentially when you look at the difference, when he was on the court, off the court, the Bulls were 8.8 points better with him off the court. They were almost 9 points per 100 possessions better with him off the court, which just stood out like a sore thumb in my research when I was looking for like guys on off splits, and like he was an outlier in that stat, right? So then, and again, he's a rookie.
Not his fault, but he was a clear outlier.
Outlier, right? And he was a rookie. So again, you would expect, here's where he stood out to me. Again, in a different way that he stood out from everyone else I could find. I looked at not only his on-off court split. I was like, well, okay, all right. There are some other guys. He's a rookie. You would expect to see some development, right? So what I looked at was his month splits and his, like, did he improve throughout the year? This is where he really stood out too. Okay, pre-All-Star break, this guy had a net rating of negative 0.9. Not bad at all, right? Especially for a rookie. Like, he came in and they had some early injuries with Lonzo and being pushed
for
into
a second round pick.
Being pushed into a role and only having a net rating of negative 1, basically, right? Dude, stellar. Post All-Star, negative 13.1. And if you look at the month-by-month breakdowns, this guy got worse as the year went on. So that's what it's like, oh my God.
Well, and I think he was pushed into a larger role down the stretch, too.
Yes.
LaMelo's injury, right? And he probably hit that rookie wall.
Lonzo's injury, yeah.
They say the rookie wall where you can only go so far.
Yes.
I'm amazed that this guy stayed healthy.
Dude, honestly. Me too. I'm amazed they didn't have anyone to give minutes to. I was like, how did they keep giving this guy minutes throughout the whole year?
These are heavy minutes for a rookie. I mean, and he played 77 games. Great like rookie season.
It wasn't just like he played 77. Sorry, man. He played 27 minutes the entire year on average.
Yeah.
I was like, he had one game post All-Star break where he was a negative 35 box plus minus in the game. Like, it was like, how is this guy staying on the court? Why are they not putting anyone else in?
Well, and like they clearly had to lean on him hard at stretches. So February, he played 36.6 minutes per game. That was actually a good month for him overall.
Yeah.
But he just fell apart down the stretch, as did the Bulls, honestly. The Bulls fell apart. And this is roster construction. You're leaning way too hard on this kid.
Oh, definitely.
And
totally agree.
This young man. But it's
child.
Like, trade, this little baby boy, this precious little child.
This
like sweet little dumpling of a man.
Probably a foot and a half taller than me.
He's listed at 6'5", yeah. But this little tiny dumpling of a man. That's definitely on the GM and the team, not on him. This guy's got a future for sure, but
yeah, he
just got thrusted into a spot where it was brutal.
And I think if anything,
I would have had him higher if it wasn't for the fact he's so young. I kind of discounted it some.
Oh, okay. See, and I kind of put it out there like, dude, he's so young and he didn't improve. That's what I saw. He didn't improve over the course of the year. That's where I got discouraged.
I'd seen his name, but I had no idea that he's playing that many minutes.
Who was your number two?
Yeah, I think he's already got this wrapped up, but all right, my number two, LVP, Reggie Jackson.
Ooh.
For me, this is one of those cases where he was pushed into a role that's not really a good fit for him with the Clippers' injuries, but he was a volume shooter and he was insanely inefficient. But looking at him, high volume, 16.3 attempts per game. The fifth worst true shooting percentage in the entire league, 0.488. You know the only guys worse than him? Jalen Suggs, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Skitty, and RJ Hampton. Those are dudes between 20 and 23 years old who are figuring out how to play in the league. They're not the number one option on a potential playoff team. He was insanely inefficient. He shot 32.6% from three, 39.2% from the field. Even from twos, on two-pointers, he shot 43.9%. From two. I mean, this is just... And you're not getting a plus defensive guy here either, by any means.
No, not at all.
So, you're getting a negative on defense. He actually rated worse on his defense, according to box plus minus, than he did his offense. But to me, he just hits that spot of high volume, low efficiency. I know that they needed him to do it because of injuries, but I feel like he just had a horrible season. Extremely inefficient.
He was on my short list, dude. He was number 5. He was number 5 on my list. So
it's hard not to when you shoot that poorly with that high of volume.
Yeah.
And you're a negative on defense.
Yep.
And being a negative on defense.
Yep.
Okay, so that's my number 2.
Okay.
My number 1, this is probably feels obvious since I didn't include him in my least improved. Russell Westbrook. To me, this was just... Westbrook was the least valuable player in the league, to me. You already hit on a lot of good points about him, but that contract, $44 million or so. That could have been 2 to 3 very good assets, easily. He didn't get hurt, like you mentioned. I'm not sure that's a good thing. I think the fact he stayed healthy is a bad thing. Because he was out there to chunk up horrible shots and run possessions into the ground every single night. It wasn't like they could plug in one of their young kids and be like, hey, this young guy might actually have potential. It's like, no, let's let Russ go out there and run 30 possessions into the ground every single night, either with horrible shots or passes into the stands are just like he was watching him was almost painful, except I don't like the Lakers, so it wasn't painful. It was actually enjoyable. And I would just say, by one note, I'm not surprised, he is who he thought he was. Like, this is Russ. I know he did fall off this year, but Russ has never been a shooter. Yeah. Russ has always been a guy who runs his game his way. He's never adopted to be fitting to the stars around him. He played with Harden. He played with KD. He's played with great players throughout his career. And he hasn't been able to win with them because he's stubborn in the way he plays his game. And this is another case, honestly. This is more on the GM than it is on the player. Russ went out and did his thing. He played his style, the same style we've watched him play for 10 plus years. But the mistake was the Lakers thinking that this would work alongside guys who need spacers. LeBron needs shooters. Yeah. LeBron doesn't need a guy to collapse everything. He needs a Buddy Hield type of guy who they could have gotten if they hadn't gone after Westbrook. You put a guy like Buddy Hield outside with LeBron, perfect match. So, to me, Russ, LVP, making so much money to be so bad. And you might get to see him do it again next year. He might be able to repeat.
LVP. Dude, here's my number 4. Right, so I don't disagree with any of your points. I just think when I was looking at the on-off splits, right? Because he was my number 1 least improved. His box plus minus was negative 5.3 this year, or it dropped off 5.3. But however, his on-off splits, I think to me, I interpreted it as, man, the Lakers just sucked. like his on-off splits, he didn't make the Lakers much worse, if at all, right? It was kind of
season started. Once the season started, my argument for why he's LVP also plays on the fact that he cost them the chance to get so many other assets.
And I think that's a great
So I'm
point.
taking a more holistic view.
Yes.
But okay, keep going like you're saying within the season though.
Yeah, within the season, right? And Russ controlling what Russ can control. He didn't make the Lakers worse. He did not make the Lakers worse than they were already going to be with that roster constructed around him. So I guess within that, I couldn't put him higher on my list because the Lakers were going to be bad with him, and he pretty much did everything he could control and played his game. And he didn't provide them any less value than they should have expected, I guess. But I totally agree that holistically, when you look outside the season and the opportunity cost of trading for him, I mean, that's just not like you said, that's on the GM, that's on the management. So he was my number 4. So my number 3, and again, when we're talking about a young guy with potential, this is a rookie again. And I was again trying to stick to in this season, who is the least valuable? Jalen Green. And again, this is not a futures pick. Because I think this guy has a ton of potential, right? He definitely showed it near the end of the season. He was learning things. I mean, he ended the season with a 41-point game. And he definitely had some amazing highlights this year. The dude is kind of like John Morant in some ways. But anyways, and I hope he gets there. But when you look at within this season, within his rookie season, holy hell, did this guy suck. From a team perspective. Yeah,
he popped up on a lot of my worst stats when I was searching for him.
Yeah.
I only excluded him because of his age.
Yeah, because of potential, right? And I guess I was sticking to more in the season. So this guy was 6.7 points, or the Rockets were 6.7 points better with him off the court. But here's my point why he was 3rd and not higher, because his pre-All-Star, this dude was a negative 17.3 net rating. His offensive rating was 100, and his defensive rating was 118. Holy shit, on 30 minutes a game, right? But he showed dramatic improvement. Yeah. Post All-Star, he was only a negative 1.7. So throughout the course of the season, he basically improved his net rating by 15.6 points per 100 possessions. So he made dramatic improvement. Yeah. And it looked like it.
I was going to say, it looks almost purely offensively.
Yes. Yeah. And that's
which is amazing.
Yeah.
I was talking about the rookie wall. This is a guy who did the opposite. I mean, I think you can add even more to his performance knowing that he had played more games than he had ever played in his life.
Yep.
At least high competitive level games.
Yep. So, and I think he has a ton of potential. I'm very excited to see where his career goes. But man, his rookie year, he was ass from a team perspective.
Well, for me, I'd be more like, I agree he was ass. I would put him more under like, if we were talking about worst player versus least valuable. I think for a team like that, they want your young guy. Go out.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck around. Huck it up.
Yeah.
Who cares if we lose? We're playing for another draft pick. Like, learn what you can and can't do.
Exactly.
So in that respect, I think I'd say he was horribly unvaluable. I would just say he was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
It's kind of some.
He was horrible. And then if you look at the other flip side that we're looking at, like from the GM's perspective, from the team's perspective, this was a very valuable season to learn that Jalen Green could make that dramatic improvement, can handle a full 82-game season, was learning what he could do and couldn't do, and was showing flashy as hell highlights that were just amazing athleticism. So I think it was tremendously valuable from the team perspective.
And I like the idea of, also it showed how he can overcome adversity. Like you're talking that early season, he was getting destroyed. Absolutely. He was going out every night and getting hammered.
Yep.
He was getting his ass kicked up and down the court both ways. And now he showed in the second half, he didn't put his head down. He improved significantly. So I feel like in the GM perspective, you're going, all right, that's what you want to see out of a young kid. I mean, you're getting beat by almost 20 points before the All-Star break, and then you come out and you're almost even-ish. I know I'm kind of rounding, but
being negative 1.7 on the Rockets, who finished 15th in the West.
Yeah, on a team that has no interest in winning this year.
Yeah,
the Rockets were not planning to win. If they had started to win, they probably would have started benching guys. I mean, the Rockets were not in this season to win.
No,
they didn't have the talent. But that was not a team ever expected to win. So that's a good one, though. In terms of the raw numbers, he kept popping up on my search, too.
This guy might have popped up, too. My number two might have popped up as well. My number 2 for least valuable was RJ Barrett.
Oh, yes. I did see some RJ Barrett pop up, too.
And he's one where this is not a rookie. Like, he should be improving. But he was...
Right, I'm a little more with you on calling him out, then.
Yeah, RJ Barrett was 8 points. The Knicks were 8 points worse per 100 possessions with RJ Barrett on the court. And looking at his raw numbers is like he just didn't, kind of what you were saying about De'Aaron Fox is kind of how I felt about RJ Barrett. He did not improve the way that the Knicks wanted him to improve. That being said, he did have some highlight moments. Like he did have that one game in, I want to say early January, where he totally lit up the second half and hit the buzzer beater to win the game. So it's not like he didn't flash some things, but this is a guy that needs to be not flashing and producing for the Knicks squad, especially given Julius Randle's struggles. It was kind of like, I think the Knicks were maybe hoping that RJ Barrett would step up and provide them a second kind of star leader. He didn't quite do that this year. But I will give him credit here. Again, when I was looking at, how did he progress throughout the season? Pre-All-Star break, he was a -6, -5.9 net rating. But post-All-Star, he was a 1.7. And both offensive and defensive ratings improved with 4.6 more minutes per game. So he was getting more time, and he became better. He got an overall improvement of 7.6 net rating throughout the season. So I do want to give him credit for that, but he provided a shit ton of terrible minutes for the Knicks.
The guy who comes off the bench for 10 minutes a game and sucks is not going to kill you.
Right.
The guy who's supposed to be 1 or 2 and is terrible for 30 minutes a night, that will tank a team.
Yep.
All right, do we have our, I think we kind of know who our number 1, our winner is here.
Dude, it has to.
The only guy to make our whole list.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so much. Yes, you won your horny award, young man.
You are the horny LVP this year in 2022. Yes.
You are the least valuable man in professional basketball, my friend. But you're a second-round pick, so that's still badass to even be playing.
Amazing. And we hope you do awesome.
Yeah.
I don't like to toot my own horn, but
cut that.